Welcome to the Senior Moment Podcast, where we dive into topics that deal with seniors and senior living. If you are a senior, work with a senior, or have a senior in your life, this is the podcast for you. You never know what topics will be discussed in each and every episode. Hosted by Cindy Cannon and Brady Tabbs. This is the Senior Moment Podcast. Hello and welcome to the show. We are excited today to have Andy Canning and Arkham with us from Got Your Six Support Dogs. We are going to start off and just ask Andy to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Andy Canning. Live in Collinsville, 35 years old, served in the United States Navy from 2007 to 2012 on board the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson. Part of the time I was a aviation ordnanceman. Then I was transferred to security department. Worked with military police the last couple of years of my enlistment. We did one humanitarian aid mission to Haiti within 8 hours of the earthquake that happened there. And then we took 2 combat deployments to the Middle East.
All right, perfect. I was going to say, so you are here today with Got Your Six Support Dogs.
I am. These fine folks came into my life in 2021 after getting diagnosed PTSD, trying to work through that on my own and realizing that I really could benefit from some extra help. And having that conversation with my wife, God bless her, stuck by me through it all, because I was not a real great person to start with in the journey. There was a lot of struggles, but now having found Got Your Six Support Dogs, when they say they got your six, they really have your six. Now they've allowed me to be a veteran liaison for the organization. I get to interview the applicants for the veteran first responder portion of the application process. And then when they're all in class for 14 days, when they get their dogs, I'm there every day for whatever the veteran needs, whatever the veteran first responder needs. I'm there, whether it be a bottle of water or, hey, I just need to talk to somebody. I can try to help them, or I can get them to somebody that can help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. First, I think I should have said thank you for your service. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I was going to say, sometimes I think I have a brother-in-law that retired from military and did a couple tours overseas in the Middle East. And people do not realize, if you do not have someone that is connected with the military, and they just don't realize the sacrifice that they give so that we all can be free.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I get it and I understand that, but it was really a privilege to do what I got to do. I mean, 11 countries in 5 years for a kid from the middle of nowhere, Illinois. I don't know how many people can.
Yeah. It was a great experience.
There were definitely obviously some trials and tribulations along the way, but
sure.
Yeah, I got to see a lot of the world and carry on a tradition for my family. So.
Right. That's great. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, I was just going to ask too, could you give us just an overview of Got Your Six?
So we provide service dogs to first responders and veterans at no cost to the veteran whatsoever. The deal is once you do the application process and you're approved and you're in the program, all you have to do is get here and get home. The rest of it's on us. So, I mean, I'm talking meals, the dog, everything on us. Hotel room, we take care of it. I think of it as a big family. Once you're in, and it doesn't matter what time of day it is. If something's going on and you need something, call somebody and we'll talk. I mean, I still work a full-time job. This is what I do for Got Your Six is completely voluntary. I don't make any money doing it. And I'll continue doing it until they kick me out. But I'm serious. I'll take a break from work and I'll get you and so will anybody else in the organization. But officially, we're a nonprofit organization that was founded in 2015 to provide service dogs to veterans and first responders with disabilities, PTSD, and TBI to be exact, and MST. We match recipients with specialized service dogs at no cost, focusing on personalized approach to meet each individual's unique needs. In addition, we offer comprehensive training programs, including trauma resiliency, suicide prevention, and therapy, addressing both physical and emotional damages that veterans and first responders faced to help us get our independence and quality of life back. Before I got Arkham, I couldn't be quote unquote normal, whatever that looks like to people. I guess it's up to each person's discretion, but I enjoy baseball. I'm a Cardinals fan. Yes, they were terrible this year, but I'm not going anywhere.
And have been for a couple of years. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry. Doesn't sound like this year's going to be a better.
Sorry.
One can only hope.
Okay, we'll cross our fingers.
But just as simple as going to a baseball game, and actually going to be able to like enjoy the game and not worry about everything that's going on around you, every movement, sound. I couldn't do that. Hockey games, my wife had to hold on to my belt, so I could get through a crowd. I'm 35 years old. I shouldn't need somebody to hold my hand, So it's just, those are bigger things but they're regular to me. I couldn't enjoy things that I enjoyed once upon a time.
Right. Okay.
And now I
Makes
can.
total sense. Now you can. So he is
for the most part.
Okay. All right. So walk us through a little bit of that. What does he do to support you?
You want me to start on the small end or the big end?
Your pick. You go.
He does so many things. Starting out, it was just re-entering me into life to be able to do the little things like go to the store.
Okay.
Because you need deodorant. Well, going to the store before him was like sitting in my car for 45 minutes, get myself amped up to be able to go in and get 3 items. And then the whole time you're in your own head, like, why is that person looking at me? Why are they following me? And so what would what would start out as a 5-minute trip into the store is 30 minutes because you're zip zapping around aisles trying to lose people that you think are following you, and they're just shopping. They're just getting what they need.
Right.
So at a certain point, it got annoying to me. Like, why am I doing this? Just get what you need and get out.
Right.
Stupid. But that's whenever I was like, okay, well, we can own this. I mean, that was the deciding factor for me.
Mm-hmm. He knows.
Yeah.
Look at him. I can see. So for those of you, obviously, who aren't here, the Arkham has come right over to him to just give him some reassurance. He's right here.
But so just getting me back into the store to do small things like that. And then sleep. I still suffer from night terrors and nightmares often. And he wakes me up from those and does deep pressure therapy. He lays on me for a couple minutes until my heart rate goes down and I calm down. And then he'll jump back off and lay down in his bed and we'll try to go back to sleep.
Wow.
It's like the big things, he goes to Cardinals games with us as long as it's not too hot or, anything like that.
Right.
He's gone to hockey games with me. He's gone to concerts with me.
Okay.
Just.
Are there any limitations on where he can go or is?
There are. So like he cannot go with me to an OR or a burn unit, somewhere that has, sanitized. And he cannot go to like a church. I mean, he can, but they have to give me the yes or no because those are private institutions. I have never, ever had an issue with the church saying yes or no, but they can deny. And so like, I personally will not take my dog to a bar and grill. Like if we're going to go out and eat, I won't take him because people have been drinking and it just turns into a thing and it's not safe for him. And then it's not safe for me if it's not safe for him.
Right. You don't want to encounter someone who's intoxicated and does.
I'm not going to put him into any situation that could potentially harm him. So if it's too hot out, we're not going. Or he's not going. If it's dangerous for him, not going to happen. I'm just not going to do it. But there's not too many places that we can't go. I mean, I know he's furry and he's cute and he has a tail that wags, but he is considered medical equipment. So
Really?
yeah, so if crutches and a wheelchair can fit, so can we. Let's rock and roll.
Okay.
Very good.
How old is he?
He's 3.
3. Okay.
Lay down.
Okay, that's really interesting. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, he can go most places, and I'm sure most religious organizations obviously would understand that. And
Yeah.
I would hope that most of them would be, but I do understand it's private organizations.
Yeah.
So hopefully most of them would be accommodating. So, what is the qualifications to get a service dog? I know you kind of gave us that little blip earlier in it, but is there, and first of all, when you were talking about that, I was also going to ask, do you service all over the United States? Do people come from all over the United States or just locally?
No, we are nationwide.
Okay.
So a plane, train, or automobile.
If you can get here,
If you can get here,
you can get it.
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
Obviously being in Maryville, so
Right.
we service mainly the Metro East, but
Okay.
I mean nationwide.
Okay.
Put your application in. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. That's great. That's great. And so just a veteran or a first responder, right, is a qualification, and then just having to have some kind of traumatic experience, I take it.
Correct. In your application, the application process is lengthy, and it's that way for a reason.
Sure.
Personally,
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to want it.
Right. And if it takes a little time to get through the application, then you know that they want it.
Right.
And it's not right.
There's a lot of legwork in it, and personally, rightfully so, because we're not giving out great trained dogs for house pets.
Right.
They're for therapy. They're to get us back right.
Right. They're to provide a service.
So while yes, at home they are just a dog,
Right.
they're also medical equipment.
They're working.
Right.
It sounds like you're asleep and he's working.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, but the application, I mean, we go into medical history, a release from healthcare providers, family questionnaires. You have to show us that you have stable housing, the financial ability to take care of a dog and all his needs. You also have to be actively participating in therapy at least twice a month. And we do background checks as well.
Okay.
And you have to have emergency contacts that, Lord forbid, something happens, that can take your dog and safely handle your dog in your absence. And that's a big deal because it's a $25,000 piece of medical equipment.
Okay, so that's what the value is of the dog.
Yeah, roughly $25,000 all in.
How long of a training is that?
Anywhere from a year to 18 months. Just kind of depends when they hit their marks, hit their goals. So, I mean, I'd like to say he was done in 9 months, but he's goofy. He didn't. He was in training for a year and a half. All our dogs are. They start out with the basics, basic obedience.
Right.
And then they work their way up all the way to, so they start that with the puppy raisers.
Okay.
I think at 8 weeks. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's at 8 weeks.
Okay. That does make sense. They just start them when they're young, right?
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
Start them right when they're pups, and then they go to their trainers that continue with stronger obedience training, more heavy duty obedience training. They also start with like alerts and public access, just taking your dog out in public, getting them used to laying under tables in restaurants, all the going into Lowe's, going to Home Depot, all those things. Night terrors, anxiety alerts, retrieves. Arkham, I didn't necessarily need retrieves.
Mhm.
So while Arkham can do it, he's not proficient at it anymore because I don't use it.
Mhm.
That's on me.
Mhm.
But if I drop my keys, he can pick them up and give them to me. Okay. If I drop a fork, he can pick it up and give it to me. Now my son loves it. My son's 19 months old, and he just throws toys everywhere. And Arkham, it drives him nuts. So Arkham picks up my kids' toys and puts them away.
Oh my God.
I'm like, awesome.
I
There
was
we
going
go.
to say, I'm going to need to teach Sadie and Odin to pick up their toys and put it away because in my living room, we have a couple of dogs. So I'm like I told you earlier, I'm definitely a dog person. So yeah, that would be great. My dog is a lab mix. She just goes over and noses through the toys and pulls them all out. She does not put them back, but
We're working on the vacuum right now so he can learn how to vacuum up his own fur. One could only wish. I'm joking.
One could only wish. I was going to say they do shed a lot, don't they?
Only every 6 months.
I was going to say, well, he's obviously well behaved. So for sure, very, very well behaved, as we can see. So first of all, I'm going to say, how did we get here today? Well, Brady and I are with Villa Rose, and every year in the fall, we look for a organization to support locally. We want to always give back to the community. We want residents to get involved in that. So with it being November, it was just a roundtable discussion with staff talking about an organization that we could support. And someone brought up, I believe our activity director, Pilar, brought up, have we thought about doing the Got Your Six support dogs, where they are supporting local veterans and first responders? And so, we all talked about it and decided, yeah, let's do that. So we were happy that about 40 residents participated. We had a little walk this morning. We all have the Got Your Six shirts on. And then when we're done here, we're going to present you with a donation that not only did Villa Rose participate and match what the residents did, but so we're going to present you with a donation today. So that's how we got here. And that's why we asked you, we wanted you to come in and we could talk a little bit more about it, because I just think a lot of people don't realize what you do, and they don't realize how you're supporting our veterans and our first responders in the community. And so we want to make awareness for that and let the community know. Because it was really interesting. A lot of our residents, when you came and spoke to them, they had no idea. And even this morning when we were getting ready to walk, a resident says, "What does Got Your Six mean?" And Pilar explained to them that that's a military thing. Like, I got your back, I got your six. And so that was, great that they understand, just again, bringing a little more awareness to it. And I think now I'm going to ask the big question, your story.
Oh, mine.
So will you share a little bit about your story?
Yeah, I can do that. So I'm from Vandalia and graduated high school there in 2007. Didn't really know what I was going to do. College was fun, or sounded fun, but it's expensive.
It is.
So I decided to do what my dad did and his dad did. So I joined the Navy. Went to boot camp September 2007. Went to school out in Norfolk, Virginia. And then my ship was stationed in the shipyards there, the USS Carl Vinson. We left there January 2010. We left Norfolk, headed around the tip of South America. We were off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida, when the earthquake in Haiti happened. I would happen to be working nights at the time, and the ship just started shaking and like rattling. And we were like, what is going on? Not until daybreak did we realize that we were off the coast of Haiti in about 8 hours, flying helicopters and flying people out. So seeing that was pretty rough. Just the things that happened that, I mean, it was, nobody did anything to deserve it.
Right.
That was like the rude awakening that the world isn't kind all the time.
Right.
They were just existing, and Mother Nature got them.
Right.
So that was like, whoa.
Eye-opening.
Yeah. Because, coming from the Midwest here, storms, tornadoes, those kinds of things. But you don't, at least I, until that point, had never seen anything that devastating to a population before. The people that, like, it wasn't a war-torn area. It was.
Right. Nobody, this was not man-made.
It was not, there was no provocation for it. It just happened.
Correct.
So that.
And to that scale had to be unbelievable too.
Yeah. And the lack of resources that they had, just for the simple things, of medical care and such. So that sticks with me still. And then, and I was just 21. I just turned 20. So I was still fresh.
Baby.
Little innocence still there. And so we handled that, came to California. That was our new home port, was San Diego. And we left for our second deployment, November 30th, 2010, November 30th, 2010. We left for our second deployment, which will be my first combat deployment to the Middle East. Just going over, doing what we had to do, doing our jobs. Picked up some only things you see in the movies. Picked up some Somali pirates along the way, had them on board in the brig for a while, dealt with them every day. I never in my life that I think I would have to do that, but here we are. I think a lot of this stuff, like I remember it vague, like clear as day whenever I'm having nightmares or night terrors, but like right now, I couldn't tell you specifically what happened day to day because you put it away at the end of the day because you got another one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it's just gone until it's not.
Okay.
So just went over there, did our jobs, came home. That one was pretty rough. The Straits of Hormuz, you have to transit to go into the Gulf in the Middle East, and it's owned by Iran. And Iran does not want us in there at all.
Okay.
So they'll fly over the top of your ship. And I mean, so close you can see the pilot's eyes. And they'll open their bomb bay doors and they're loaded to the gills. And at that point, we're just sitting ducks. I mean, we can fly helicopters up in there. And we do, but we don't have enough headwind to launch any aircraft or anything like that. So we're just kind of like along for the ride. And they have small little attack boats that fly out from around surplus ships that they'll send, towards your carrier, and they're firing blanks out of their machine guns
To mess with you.
To try to get you to shoot first.
Right.
And yeah, it's a mess. So that stuff haunts me. And so the first one wasn't so bad. I mean, it wasn't fun by any means, but it wasn't so bad. I thought it was bad at the time.
Right.
Then the next cruise, we went back and did it again. And this time, tensions were higher. I don't really know. That stuff was so far above me. I was just there to do jobs, so I was doing my job. And it was like they upped the ante then, and it was a nightmare. It was. I think we spent 12 hours in there, transiting the Straits. Gosh, it must have felt like 6 months. Like you're so exhausted when you're done that you're like, what even happened? You're just a shell walking back to turn your weapons in. And you're like, I gotta go to bed now. So
Just drained.
Yeah, just drained. I mean, not really physically because you're not running around.
Right. Emotionally drained because you don't know what's coming at you.
Mentally, I got nothing left to give you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, and nothing happened. Like there was no conflict that happened there. It was just the thought that of any second, we're screwed.
Right.
I mean, we're not, but it's
the threat that
it's going to hit the fan and it's going to be all or nothing.
So not knowing, right? The unknown of yes. Okay.
And then on the way home, we had just come out of the Straits back into, headed home. I'm like, yep, this is my last one. I'm done. I'm out. So I was kind of settling into the fact that, soak it all in. We're stopping at Australia on the way home. It's like the highlight of my service. Like it's not an everyday stop.
Right. Right.
So I'm looking forward to that. And that's when we got Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't you know? Guess where he came? To my ship. SEALs flew him on board my ship, and we buried him off the side of my ship.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of turmoil that comes with that.
Absolutely.
On the way home, port stops and such, they're like, we don't want any, nope.
Right. We don't want anything to do with this. They're not coming after us for assisting you.
So, I mean, while it was great to be part of history, and I hope my kids' know that, in history lessons, not necessarily about me or that I was involved in any part of that, but, I mean, that's huge.
That's historic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't say, I mean, you guys can think what you want to think, and a lot of people have their own theories about this, that, and the other, but I know. I was there. I saw it.
Wow.
So the people that actually captured him, or I mean, I know they killed him and then killed
Right,
him.
the SEAL
Did
unit.
they bring him straight to you?
Yeah, they flew him on board our ship. They woke us up and told us to arm up and pull security on the on the aircraft elevator. And then the SEALs show up, and I'm like, what am I here for? These guys got it.
Right.
Clearly
they've got it.
No, but that was a day.
Was there a lot of high fives being given, or was it kind of kept?
Oh no, it was kept under. I mean,
Kept
we
under.
could. The admiral came on over the 1MC and said we're going into River City, which meant no comms in and off the ship, on and off the ship, no email, no phone, no mail, no nothing.
Locking it down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot of us, besides thinking, why are we here to do this? The SEALs are here. I mean, kind of know a thing or two more than we do. But it was kind of like, holy crap. Like, it's real.
Right.
Like, it's really real. Like, is it over now? No, it's never over.
Right.
But, you know,
Right. So here you had prepared yourself to settle in for a nice, smooth trip home, and then boom,
not so much.
not so much.
It wasn't bad, but it was, you know, for a couple weeks there, we were like, okay, so now what? Like,
Right. Is anyone going to retaliate? I mean, that's
Right.
what we all wondered at the time, right? It's
Yeah.
like, when's it coming, or who's it? Yeah. So,
God bless my mother, because she watches the news.
mhm.
I was going to say, you don't see that story on the news.
She, you know,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, and she knew, and my family all knew, like, if you don't get an email from me or something every once in a while, like, don't trip out. Like,
Right.
there's a reason, and
Right.
it's not because I'm not trying to. I just can't.
Right.
And then, you know,
Right.
everybody watches the news and they saw it and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, tell me about it.
Right.
You want to be there?
Yeah.
So some people are like, yeah. And I was like, no.
No.
No, you don't.
Wild. That is wild. Wow. What a great story, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it was
a great story that you'll be able to pass down, right?
Yeah. And I mean, my service, we're not supposed to compare. We aren't, but my service doesn't chalk up to half the guys that I know in our organization. Like, those dudes had it way worse than me. Jiminy Christmas. Like, I know. See, you're shaking
I am
your head.
shaking my head because, you know, I mean, I know that is wonderfully, you know, you have this humility about your service, and you're always probably looking at others and what they've done and think, gosh, they, you know,
I didn't have to eat MREs. Those guys had to eat MREs.
Yeah.
My meal probably wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't MREs.
Right. But don't underestimate your service. I mean, obviously, and, you know, your impact obviously was very important. And yeah, I mean, I guess we in life can always look at other people that have it worse, but
Well, one, I don't think I did anything outstanding. I think I did my job and I did it well and I came home. But it keeps me humble. Be like, hey man, we're all the same here.
right.
We're all just as. That's actually whenever I introduce myself to the classes at Got Your Six, whenever the pairing classes start, I kind of blunt, which either they love or hate. I'm like, we're all just as jacked up as the other ones, so we need to lean on each other. It's going to be a long 14 days. These first few, you're not going to want to say anything, do anything. Loosen up, get to know these people because they're with you the next 14 days.
Yeah.
And you got to lean on each other.
Right.
These people in this room are the only way you're going to make it through. That sounds bad. Like, we don't like ruck march or anything crazy like that. It's a lot. It's mentally and emotionally, it's a lot. It's draining. The therapies and the conversations that you get in, you know, this in the classroom, in the facilities, much like the saying goes for Vegas, what happens in the classroom stays in the classroom. What's talked about in the classroom doesn't leave the classroom.
Well, it's probably more exhausting to put on a front than just to, don't you think? I mean, for those people that try to just hide that all, and in that class, would probably be more exhausting to try to do that for 14 days than to just
let it go.
Let it go.
Absolutely. I mean, usually by day 3 or 4,
right?
You know, there's some tears flowing and some sharing, and then you can see people's shoulders kind of
Come down.
And figure out who they are. And
Sure.
obviously they've all grown to a point to be able to make it in the class, make it in the program.
Right.
But then the real work starts,
Right.
and it doesn't end when we're done with class. Like you still got to keep going. We started it for real. Now you got to keep trudging.
Right. You just started, right? You just got to every day keep going.
And every day is not going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's going to suck. And you just got to keep going. I hear you.
Absolutely. He wants a little attention. I brought him a treat earlier, but I only packed one, Brett.
Let's get back to Arkham and the service dogs. How do service dogs differ from therapy dogs?
Oh, you can pet therapy dogs and you can't service. I'm kidding. I have a much better.
I ruined that. I petted him earlier.
I freed him up.
Okay. Thank you.
Service dogs are specially trained to assist us with disabilities by performing specific tasks like anxiety alerts. They have a legal right to access public places under laws like the ADA. Therapy dogs, on the other hand, provide emotional support and comfort to groups of people in settings like hospitals or schools. They do not perform any specific task for individuals and do not have the same public access rights. While service dogs are considered working animals, therapy dogs are typically viewed as pets and require permission to enter certain locations.
Okay, so that's really good information. Really, I love how, a service dog is a working dog, right? They're working.
Yes,
they're working. And
our therapy dogs, Got Your Six, has both,
yes,
obviously service dogs and therapy dogs. Our therapy dogs have purple vests on that say "Ask to Pet."
Yes. Okay.
So
and I was going to say, actually, we have, I believe there are 2 of your therapy dogs that come in here to the La Rose each month in an evening.
I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, they do. We have 2 different organizations that come in. One is an organization in Wood River, and they're training dogs. So they have to get so many hours.
Yep.
So the trainer brings them in and is with them each month. And then we have the Got Your Six dogs that come in the evening to do some therapy, and they're regular. They've been doing it forever. So, but yes, they do love it. We are a pet-free community here. And that's just because it's tough for them to take care of a pet.
Right.
But they do love. There are a couple of residents here that I just see just an enormous change in them when they have an animal next to them.
It's I don't know how many times I'm gonna hit my head on that. I've only done it like 4 now.
No one's noticing.
It'll edit that out.
I was gonna say
it's incredible. I'm going to speak on behalf of dogs because that's what I have. Arkham's role, you would think he alerts to me, and he does, but also to my son. Like if at night he lays next to me next to the bed, on my side of the bed in his bed, but he does his rounds like every 45 minutes. He comes and touches his nose on my forehead to make sure I'm okay. Then I'll go around to my wife's side of the bed, check on her. Then I'll go to Briggs's room and stick his nose through the rungs of the crib and make sure he's okay. Then I'll come back and lay down. And if Briggs wakes up in the middle of the night and starts crying, Arkham is like headbutting the crap out of my bed. Like, get up. And I'm like, come on, man, give him a minute. He might just be adjusting, or like, let him figure it out. No.
Okay.
So he works for everybody.
Wow.
He's mine, but
right.
He works for everybody.
But he has assumed that role to take care of everybody in the household.
Yeah, that's not my house. That's his house.
That's his house. Yep. Well, I think too, I'm a dog lover as well. So I think, and I'm life with the dog is much better. But don't you think that they sense he knows how important those people are to you? And so
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Oh yeah.
They're so much smarter, I think, than some people give them credit for.
And it's not necessarily just the alerts and like the trained tasks that he does for me or anybody in the house. Like he can tell when tension's high in the house.
Yes.
So he'll do something stupid and make everybody laugh. Like that's just the best way to put it. Like you know that he's showing off, but you can't not laugh at it. And then it just
lightens the mood.
Lightens the mood.
Clears the air.
Exactly.
We're like, all right, let's go do whatever we're going to do.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to ask a quick follow-up question. You talked about Earlier, before we went on the air, you said something about the different types of therapy dogs. Could you kind of explain what you mentioned? A few breeds that.
So we typically only use 100% good boys and girls, but we use labs, golden retrievers, and standard poodles. So if you have dog allergies, we have standard poodles, and they are allergy friendly. And at first, I was against it. I was like, there's no way I'm walking down the road with a poodle. They're outside your mind.
Oh, that's good. That's not very manly, is
However, these dogs, pretty daggum smart.
Okay.
And they are incredible workers. They have great attitudes.
Okay. So it works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their purpose is for like duck hunting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what they do. So service work, it fits.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not saying I'd give up barking for a poodle. I'm saying they're good dogs.
Well, I was going to say cover his ears if you say that.
Oh, no. This one's bought and sold.
Okay. He's sticking with you, huh?
Yeah. He's mine. We drive each other nuts, but he's mine.
Well, I was going to say, we really appreciate you coming in today and talking. I think as we start to kind of wrap things up, tell us a little bit about how people can get involved with your organization or connect with you and your organization. What can they do if they want to get involved and help out? I mean, this just seems like such a great cause in our community that people can appreciate and support.
So, it doesn't matter if you want to apply for a service dog, if you're looking for volunteer things to do, donating, or if you want to host an event, call the office in Maryville.
Okay.
Get on our website, gotyoursixsupportdogs.org, I believe. Let me double check that. And our Facebook has Got Your Six Support Dogs.
Okay.
As well as Instagram.
Okay.
You can get on all the socials.
Oh yeah, here we go. See, we do have
gotyoursixsupportdogs.org.
Okay, there you go. We have a great sound guy that just, as we're talking,
all the information's on the website or our social medias. We have an excellent social media coordinator who also does all of our events and such, Sam Steinman. She's a person to get a hold of. She is a multifaceted lady. She has a lot of things going on, and I'm glad she does it because I don't want to do it. I would mess it up in a heartbeat. But anybody in Got Your Six, or just stop in Monday through Thursday. They're in the office.
Okay.
When you walk in, Kelsey's I'd hate to call her a receptionist because she does so much more than that. But she's the first person you're going to see. And then Amanda Heflin is our administrative director. Nicole Lanahan is our founder and executive director.
Okay.
Christy is our director of training. And then Sam is our everything else. Marketing,
yeah,
social media manager,
all the things. All the things. Yeah, I was going to say, and for people that, just get up and look at their website. I mean, I have to say that I perused it a little bit. Obviously, you were coming in and I wanted to know a little bit, but
if you're interested in having a dog, but don't want to have a dog all the time, we need puppy raisers. So you can raise a puppy. We pay for everything. You go to training classes with the dog, and then they go to their actual trainers to go into service work.
Okay, so somebody who loves animals but can't make maybe a long-term commitment, but they can have a puppy for a while, and yeah, that's puppies can be tough. But see, my problem would be I would fall in love with him, right?
That's why you stay. That's why you stay in the organization again.
Okay, I do it again.
How we rope you in.
It's a worthwhile cause.
I was going to say, did you see Brett's over there rolling his eyes? I do. I'm a dog person. You should see me at the farmer's market. I have regulars that visit me, right, Brett? All the dogs that come, they're like, oh, there's the dog lady. She's got treats. I do. I do. I was raised hunting dogs. My dad raised coon dogs. So I didn't even know life without coon dogs, I mean, puppies, he'd raise litters, and I just didn't.
You haven't known peace and quiet for a long time, have you?
No. I was going to say I was just telling the other night we were talking, I was like, my dad would walk out in his gear and we, on the average, you'd have somewhere between 12 and 16 hunting dogs. And man, the kennels would light up. They all want to go, right? They all want to go hunting. And so I'm like, they'd bark for half an hour after he left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I have not had peace and quiet for some time. That is exactly right. But that's okay.
Wouldn't
That's
have
right.
it any other way.
That is true. They do offer a lot of comfort. People don't realize that just if you don't have an animal, just the love, unconditional, right? Unconditional love that they can give. And obviously, who would have, I guess in my mind, I never would have imagined that dogs could, as I was younger, could be used in this manner. I'm just today watching him, he instantly could tell when you were talking about something that was a little bothersome, right? And he was right by you. He sensed that. And that's kind of an amazing thing for people to see. And like I said, an amazing thing that people can support. We're very happy that we could support you guys and, do a fundraiser here for you. And I would encourage all of our listeners to somehow, get involved and support you guys.
Yeah, it's, I can't say how thankful I am for you guys having me back and doing this fundraiser. But even to the people listening, if you want to donate, your dollar just doesn't affect just me with my dog. It affects every spouse, every kid, every brother and sister that got their dad back, their spouse back, their, sibling back. It's a big deal. It goes in waves. So it's not, yes, you just see the number of people that you're getting a dog, but multiply that by droves of families that got their person back.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people really think about the freedoms that we have today, we wouldn't have those freedoms if we did not have people that were willing to put their life on the line and go through traumatic situations. And it's probably each one of our duties to get involved and to support these people, because most of us can lay our head on the pillow at night and not have to worry. And, people should be appreciative that there are people that are willing to go and serve our country so that we can
I appreciate
be free.
We all did it for our own reasons, but
Yep. Understand completely. So, Andy, thank you so much. We have enjoyed our time together with you. I appreciate you coming and sharing your story. And Arkham. Yeah, Arkham, absolutely. We have appreciated him being patient with us, right? Brady, anything you want to finish off today?
I was one like some of our residents. I did not know what Got Your Six was until I saw the sign-up sheet, but it sounds like just a great organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, everyone, thanks for tuning in and listening to the Senior Moment podcast. We appreciate you and take care.
Thank you for listening to the Senior Moment podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to like, follow, and share wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We hope you'll join us next time. Take care, everybody.